Hello, and thank you for tuning into this week's Mayor's Update. We're going to have a little bit of a shorter update in terms of information this week for you because I do want to take some time and remember one of our sitting city councilors, Ronald Cormier, who passed away this past week. But that doesn't mean there's still stuff not going around in the city, so we do still want to provide you with a couple updates. We want to remind people that on April 17th from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m., the Greater Gardner Health and Wellness Fair is going to be held in Perry Auditorium again. They are accepting applications for vendors and resource tables. The flyer has been posted on the city's website and social media platforms. So if you are interested in more information on that, you can contact Veronica Patty, our city prevention coordinator who works with the Gardner Community Action Team, who is putting that event on together. And we want to remind people too that MART buses are free from now until July 1st. So there is free transportation to the event provided as well, and for anywhere else that you want to go on the MART fixed bus routes. Excise taxes are due on March 4th to the city tax collector's office. Those should have already been received by now. We run into an issue every year where someone has a change of address or the box number is wrong or something like that, and people miss their excise tax bill because they feel like they didn't receive them. The city's legal obligation is to put them in the mail, and then the law specifically says it's then up to the individual to find out, to make sure that they receive that bill in the mail. If it gets mailed back to the city, the onus is still on the resident at that point to make sure that they then find out how much they're supposed to pay. So we want to do an early reminder right now that if you have not yet received your excise tax bill, call the city tax collector's office and see if you can either fix the problem that's with the address or find out how much there. We don't want anyone to get into a situation where there's any penalties, fines, fees, or anything like that as a result of missing that deadline. And on a similar vein, just as a reminder too, that dog license applications are due to the city clerk's office by April 1st. And if you are over the age of 70, those are free for you to renew. Gardner is setting up a brand new farmers market. This is something I announced in my inaugural address. If you would like more preliminary information on this new farmers market that's going to be housed at the Waterford Street School facility, you can go to the Gardner Farmers Market Facebook page and see the information that's there. I want to thank Erica Bossi for really partnering with the city and getting this off the ground and running. And we'll have more information on that once it gets a little warmer outside so we can actually have a farmers market outside. But I just want to make sure if anyone's looking for preliminary information on when that's going to be held and how it's going to operate, the Facebook page is called Gardner Farmers Market. And then lastly, we want to remind people or let you know, for those of you who don't know yet, that we have a couple of ribbon cuttings taking place coming up in the next few weeks. On February 5th at 10 a.m., MVP Barber Studio, located on Main Street, across the street from Fidelity Bank, is going to have their official ribbon cutting. They're at the old Scott's Firehouse Nutrition location. The new apartments at the former Ryan Block and Temptations building, they are going to have their official ribbon cutting on February 9th at 11:30 a.m. And then Four Seasons Asian Restaurant is going to have their ribbon cutting on February 12th at 11 a.m. So it's great to see that we've got so much progress happening in Gardner that we can have all of these ribbon cuttings. So you are welcome to attend if you'd like to at any of those events. Now, I'd like to talk a little bit about the individual who's pictured behind me. City Councilor at Large Ron Cormier passed away this past week, and I want to extend my deepest condolences out to his family, his son, Councilor at Large Craig Cormier, his wife Marcelle, his daughter Pam, and everyone else who's really been touched by Councilor Cormier. He did a lot in Gardner. If you'll allow me, I'm just going to pull the frame here. He was a member of the Holy Rosary School and the Holy Family Academy school board, helping to, with the operations of the Holy Family Academy and Holy Rosary School over on Nickel Street. Aside from that, he was the director of what's called the J. Euless Cormier Government Program. This is a program in which students in the 7th and 8th grade at Holy Family Academy run for local office. So rather than your typical student government elections of class president, class treasurer, you're running for mayor and city councilor, state representative, state senator, and then the individuals who win those elections spend the day with the people who actually hold those office. And if you didn't run for election or you lost, whoever wins mayor actually appoints you to a department head position. And it's a way for our students at Holy Rosary, or Holy Family Academy, you'll have to excuse me, I'm a Holy Rosary alum, so I'm going to default to that a couple times, can see how local government works. And that was Councilor Cormier's pet project. He made sure that sometimes I would go and talk to the students before their elections to see if the topics they were talking about were actual city problems or state problems or federal problems or private sector, down to meeting with individuals at the school one-on-one to talk about where you lived, because not all of those students are from Gardner. And if you were coming from Templeton, Winchendon, New Salem, you knew how town meeting ran. And his thing that he always used to say was, it's not my job to get you to run for office. My job is to make sure you're an educated voter who knows what's going on in your community. And that was really one of the things I'll remember most about Ron and the work he did. But aside from that, he started his public service in Gardner in 1976 when Mayor Erickson appointed him to the Airport Commission. He often joked that he's Gardner's only city councilor who's also had a pilot's license. After he was on the Airport Commission from 76 to 81, he served on the Gardner Redevelopment Authority from 1996 to his passing, again in 2024. He was a member of the Board of Trustees for Levi Haywood Memorial Library from 1992 until his passing earlier this week. He was on the Gardner Elementary School Building Committee, the group that helped oversee the construction and design of the school and provide input on all of those items from 2015 until his passing this past week. He was a former Ward 3 city councilor from 1980 until 1996 when he took some time off from the city council and then came back on the council in 2004 as a city councilor at large and was serving in that position when he passed away. He's also served as the previous city council president from 1992 to 1996 and in 2017. So there's a lot, and he was also on the board of directors for the House of Peace and Education as well. So he really did a lot in this community, and those were just his appointed positions. He was a member of the Lions Club. He was an active member of Annunciation Parish. He'd often be seen serving turkey at the annual Fall Bazaar over at Holy Rosary Church. Ron's impact is really something that the city's going to be feeling for generations to come, and I can't say thank you enough for the service that he provided to the city, and just my deepest sympathies to his family on the loss and the loss that the city's experienced as a whole. One of the things that we really don't do too often is lower the city's flag. And we only have one flag of the city flying in the city, and it's in front of the Bullnose building in downtown Gardner. The only time it's been lowered was we had a student at Gardner Public Schools pass away when Andy Boucher passed away a couple years ago, and this is the third time in the city's history that we've lowered the Gardner flag for someone. So I do just want to read the proclamation that was put out that really lowered that flag there for this past week for Councillor Cormier, just because it does talk about some of the stuff we've talked about, but just something that he deserved for the service that he provided for the city for decades of service. He's Gardner's longest serving city councilor in our history as a city, and as you saw, his public service spanned almost 4 decades working for the residents here, so we do just want to read that. On behalf of a grateful city, I wish to offer my sincerest condolences to the family of Gardner City Councilor Ronald F. Cormier on the recent announcement of his passing. Councilor Cormier was a strong advocate for the residents of this city and a true friend to many. To me, personally, he was a colleague, mentor, friend, and my former principal at Holy Rosary School during my middle school years. To others, he was an educator, an elected official, a smiling face at the turkey dinner line at the annual Holy Rosary Bazaar or Pudding Factory, a pilot, an avid boater, an elected official, and most importantly, a loving pepper, father, and husband. Beginning his career in public service by being appointed to the city's Airport Commission by Mayor Stephen Erickson in 1976, he later went on to serve the community as a member of the Board of Trustees for Levi Haywood Memorial Library, the Gardner Redevelopment Authority, the School Building Committee for the newly opened Gardner Elementary School, and most notably as a city councilor, serving the residents of Ward 3 from 1980 to 1996 and the citizens at large from 2004 until his passing on January 28, 2024. Aside from his work in the public sector, he has also worked as an ardent advocate for education, serving on the school board for Holy Rosary School and Holy Family Academy for several decades, including serving as the school's interim principal for a brief period with his wife, Marcelle. However, his work in the public sector and his volunteer service in promoting Catholic education in Gardner were tied to each other through his work as the director of the J. Euless Cormier Government Program. Councillor Cormier knew how important it was to instill a sense of civic responsibility in our students and truly put his heart into this program to inspire students to get involved. He was often quoted as saying, "The goal of this program is not to get you to run for office, but to remind you how important it is to vote and to know how to learn about the issues when they come up when you are older. My goal is to make you an informed and educated citizen." However, these efforts did prove fruitful, with several of his former students and students of this program running for office and making a difference, including his son, City Councilor at Large Craig Cormier, former student, Councilor at Large George Tyros, and myself as mayor. I feel confident in saying that there is not a single aspect of this city, a project or initiative undertaken by its government, or an idea that was brought up in the last 4 decades that did not have his advice, input, or impact on it. The impact he has had on Gardner is something that will be felt by generations after him, because he saw this city, believed in it, and he knew what it could accomplish and be for the people who lived here. In recognition of his service to our community, and with a heart that is both heavy with sorrow at the loss of a friend and grateful for all that he did for the city, by the authority vested in me as mayor of the city of Gardner, in accordance with the provisions of Chapter 92 of the Code of the City of Gardner, I hereby order that the flag of the city of Gardner, located in downtown Gardner, be lowered to half-staff immediately until sunset on the day of his internment. This order shall apply to the flag of the city of Gardner only, while the American flag and the flag of the Commonwealth shall remain at full staff unless otherwise ordered by presidential or gubernatorial order, signed by myself as mayor of the city of Gardner. So this is something that we really don't do for many people here, but when you have an impact as large as Councilor Cormier's was, that spanned 4 decades of service here in Gardner, it's really something that's deserved. Again, I want to extend my sincerest condolences to all of Ron's friends, family, and loved ones. And his funeral will be this coming Saturday, February 3rd, at 11 a.m. at Holy Rosary Church of Annunciation Parish. And I feel like that's a fitting way to close out this week's update. We'll get into more of the details on stuff happening in the city next week. But until then, I look forward to speaking with you at that time. And thank you very much, Councilor Cormier, for your service to the city.